Hey everyone, welcome back to the Epic Podcast. We're on episode 7, I think we are now. Woo! And I have a girl that I started to follow online, and then I became like crazy obsessed with because she told me that I asked her a question. This was when I was back in Australia before I moved to Los Angeles, and I asked her a question saying like, is LA the right move for me? And she replied with a resounding yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And so she became a fan for life. I became a fangirl for life because I'm now living in Los Angeles, and I 100% agree that it's the best decision that I've ever fucking made in my entire fucking life. And I'm so psyched to be here. And I want to say I sort of owe it all to you, but I know that a lot of it came from me, but I do know that you were like that final oomph that I needed, or my soul needed, for me to really like buy that freaking one-way ticket and bring my dog over from Australia. She goes by the name Ashley Intuitive, and she is a psychic soul coach. Ash, can I call you Ash, actually?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So it's Ash and Ash. It's Ash and Ash on the podcast today, everybody. Woo! Ashes rule the world, clearly. Welcome, Ash. It's such an honor.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure for you being here. I'm so psyched.
It's a pleasure to be here. I am so happy we're finally doing this. And honestly, like, I just want to say that you did it all by yourself. All of it. You really did. Sometimes there's just this catalyst soul that has to push you off the edge, but you really do all the work. No one does the work for you.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? And I remember, I don't even know where I even saw it, but it was on Facebook, and I think you were doing like a free reading to ask one question, and I did, and I was sitting in one of my Pilates studios, and I was living in that Pilates studio at the time because I was saving as much money as I could to get my ass over to LA, and I didn't want to expend any money. And I remember reading it and being like, oh well, I'll just ask. And yeah, you were like it was capital letters, a big
yes, I remember.
Exclamation point, and I felt the power behind it. I was like, whoa, crap, I'm really meant to be going there.
I remember that. I was like, yes, because they screamed it at me. They're like, yes. And then I got this whole like epic vision of how great it would have been for you. Just all of the amazingness. And look now.
I know. Look now. Now I'm interviewing you for my podcast.
I know, right?
I live across the road from Santa Monica Beach. Like, the beach is literally across the road here. So I'm just...
Oh, that's my dream.
Oh, it's just like, it's amazing. And I freaking like, I'm so psyched. I've come such a long way since living in my Pilates studio to living across the road from the beach in Los Angeles.
I love it.
I know. So good. So Ash, you're in the Epics. This is the Epic Podcast, and Epic standing for Extraordinary People Inspiring the Communities. And I know 100,000% that you're inspiring your community. Every time I see you on Facebook, you always have like your posts pretty much go viral every single time.
I know, right?
It's so great. And like, you're absolutely crushing in business. And just before we went live, I asked like when you started in business, which was March 2015, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I started to follow you probably February of this year, I think.
I was around there. I remember it was a winter here in Canada. Yeah.
Yes. And like, all I see now is that your business is absolutely crushing it. So tell us a little bit about that. When did it start to explode? I
really started to... I want to say it started to really explode around February, March 2018. But, it looks like, okay, yeah. It started really kind of like, I want to say when I started getting all the followers and stuff, that was about January 2018. But everything started exploding recently, and I'm telling you, it feels so good. And the only thing I really changed was trying to be authentic. Like, I stopped hiding my true self. Like, there was so much like obstacles I was going through, horrible obstacles that are kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, a horrible past relationship I was in that really dragged me down. Just so much. I just removed everybody that wasn't serving that future that I wanted anymore. Yeah. I was suiting their frequency, and like it wasn't right. Like they were all the way down here, and like I was up here, but once I would interact with them, I was like flat, right down on the frequency. You know what I mean? Why am I going to be there? I don't know. That's why I took that away, and now I'm up here and I'm staying that high frequency state. I'm attracting all the high frequency things, and that's honestly all I did. Remove everything and all the people, even the things, you know what I mean? I removed the job that was not suiting my future anymore. I ran a call center with somebody, and this is my career. I helped manage a call center of about 200 people. It's the biggest taxi company in Ontario. And I was helping them out there, and I'm telling you, I was angry every time I came home because of all the horrible vibrations around me at work, people on the phones, people that I was dealing with inside the office. And I decided just to shed that layer off of me. And it was hard, you know what I mean? Like when there's fear behind something, you just got to do it. You know much about that when you moved out of Australia, right? But that's basically what I did. Shed everything that wasn't serving me anymore. People, things, anything. Yeah. And now I have all the great things.
So when did you quit that then to go full time into your biz?
I quit January 2018. So around
that time. Isn't that interesting?
It was like a domino effect. I'm telling you, when I quit the job, everything just fit into place. And like, I wasn't doing so hot in my business before January. I really wasn't. I'd get a client here, there, you know what I mean? But once I just shed that job, everything came to me.
Yeah. And so, well, I mean, I've skipped, like, I know what you do, but I've skipped like all of our followers, so they don't know what you do. So tell us what a psychic soul coach is, and what is that to you? Like, what are you doing for our people and all of the above?
So I work like strictly with the soul. I help you shed layers that are no longer serving you anymore, nothing that's suiting the future that you want. And I get you to step into your soul purpose and find the confidence to do so. And I use numerology with that. So I kind of want to, like, there's numerology, and with numerology, I basically determine somebody's soul purpose. This is something that people do all their different lifetimes, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it really just needs to be rediscovered. So I get them to step into their soul purpose, find the confidence to do so, and watch them do amazing things after. And like, that's the thing. Once you get into alignment with your soul purpose, the universe is going to reward you with abundance after that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God, that's awesome. Wow, I love that. And I felt all of that as well. Like, I literally felt like you were my mirror reflecting my own soul back at me. And it's almost like I always knew that I was meant to move and be here and whatnot, but I just wasn't quite like going out. I was like, oh yeah, like soon. When everything's ready here, then I'll go. Like when everything's sorted here, then I'll go. But it's never the case. Like you, and your big yes message, I was like, oh, right. No, I meant to have done it like probably 6 months ago, but now, but the next best time is now. So I'm going to do it now.
No, and I've been watching you too, like the confidence you're having, like even in your posts, your lives, like you inspire me. I remember you said something, and I've been like telling my clients about you too. There's one thing you're like, oh shit. I love you. There's this one thing. There's one thing that you said that stuck to me a few weeks ago. Don't follow your soul. Let your soul follow you. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you have this Pilates business in Australia, like if you're here and your soul called you to go there and you followed, everything that Ashley has and owns is going to work. And I swear to God, I quote you in like most of my sessions now. I swear to God.
Oh my God. Okay. If I can be like truly honest here. I remember saying something similar, but when I go into like a live stream, I go into this zone where like I feel like I'm like a channel, and my soul is like talking, and I'm just the vessel talking directly through me. So people are like, "Oh my God, I love it when you said this on the live stream." I was like, "Did I say that?" Wow, that is. I want to learn that too.
You're probably like, yeah, no, I get that. A lot of people say that too, but no, you really, that stuck with me. I was like, yes, like that is so true. And ever since there, I see myself shedding more and more and more. Like, why am I doing this? My soul doesn't want me to. It's my ego connected. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that one thing, oh my God, I love it.
And your soul always knows. Like earlier today, you know, we were a little bit behind. You were a little bit behind schedule with the original podcast time, and you're like, oh well, I'm free tomorrow, and like we have already rescheduled a couple of times. But my soul tonight was like, no, don't reschedule. And so that's why I was like, you know what, like I'm happy to like go later if you want, that's totally fine. But it was just like, that's just one little example. Like all the other times it was a bit like, well, yeah, okay, we'll do it later, we'll do it later. But tonight I was like, no, this one is happening tonight. So obviously it's clear that like the best messages will be coming out here, the best learnings, like the best truth bombs. Like everyone who's going to be listening to this is going to walk away being like, oh my God, I got to like connect with this Ashley soul coach chick. Like so I just know that that's what's going to happen.
Yes, no, I felt really good about it too. And no, I was laughing because when you sent me that message about the guy, how did he take it?
The message when you who? My date. I know, like
the new boy. Yes.
I know, the new boy. So like, just, you know, for our podcast listeners, I'm meant to be on a date right now, but because I knew that I had to do this podcast, so I was like, I said to the guy, I was like, hey, like when you're about to ghost someone, it always begins with a hey, like 5 Ys. I'm like, hey, so here's the thing. I do this podcast and like, you know, I had one scheduled before the date, but like she's running behind, so we've got to do it now. And I was saying to Ash on the podcast, because she was like, oh no, like don't change your date, I'm free tomorrow. And I was like, no, because actually a guy that wants to be with me is going to understand, one, my entrepreneurial mindset. He's going to be entrepreneurial like me. So he's going to get it. And number two, if he really freaking wanted to like see me and date me and be with me, then like he would be able to wait 2 hours, you know what I mean, behind schedule to like continue the date. So
exactly. And like, in this, oh no, I was going to say, in this whole realm of existence here, time means you know what I mean? Like, and even that, like I've been stepping into that more than ever, just being in this moment right now.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy. Do what your soul wants. Exactly.
That's it. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. But like, but he was so cool about it. He's like, yeah, no worries. You know, we'll pick it up from like 9 p.m. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're going on a later date, but it's all going to be sweet. So it's totally fine. And he seems really lovely, but yeah. So we'll see.
Super excited for you.
Oh, thanks, lovely. It is definitely like the LA thing. Like I feel like a totally different person here. And I feel like I'm just getting like younger and younger. Like I look at my skin and I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, I had lines when I was in Australia, but now like smooth and clear. I'm like, yes, like give me some more of that for sure. So yeah, I feel like I'm reversing age.
What are some differences from Australia to now? You know what I mean? Like, what are like the cultural differences? Is there any that you really had to get used to?
Yes.
From America?
Huge. So I live across the road from the beach, as you know. So I lived across the road from the beach in Australia before I moved into my Pilates studios. And and so it's a really common thing to like not wear shoes. Like no one wears shoes in Australia. Like no one. And even if you were near the beach, you would never wear like anything denim. You would never wear jeans or anything like that. It'd either be like a short skirt or like, you know, a short dress or just straight up your bikini and you're walking around bare feet with your bikini on and whatever. So here, everyone's in like enclosed shoes and jeans. People wear jeans to the beach, and that is like no-go zone in Australia. Like you would be like, everyone would be looking at you being like, why the fuck are you wearing jeans to the beach? And everyone here is just like strutting it in like the full enclosed shoes and like wearing the jeans and shit. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. I see that too here in Canada for sure. Like people are like doing the most. I'm just looking at them, I'm too hot right now.
Well, yeah, and then there's definitely been like just like some cultural differences in terms of like, you know, like language, like people, I would be like joking around and people would like not take offense, but they'll be like taken aback by what I have to say, and I'm just like, oh no, like it literally was just a joke, like it's just Australian humor. Like this is literally guys that I was like dating, and like guys that I've been on dates with, they would be like, are you like offending, like I'm feeling a bit offensive, I feel like you're I'm like, no, I'm just joking with you. Like, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, I've been called.
Oh my God, that's actually so funny.
It is funny because I've been called sassy 3 times. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck sassy means, but whatever. If you call me sassy, I'm sassy. I don't even know what it means.
I'm literally dying. What kind of humor is this that you're like out here triggering people?
Yes, that's all I'm doing. I'm just triggering the LA boy nation situation over here. And as a result, I'm being called sassy. I still don't even know what it means. I'm just like, I don't know what it means, so whatever. But
that is so funny. Oh my God, that's actually so funny.
It's so good. It's so good. So, I would love to talk a little bit more about like the soul work that you do, in case someone is really sort of struggling to, how do they know that the message is coming from their soul and not from their ego? What's the difference? What do you think is the difference?
First difference, when you're listening to your soul, you're feeling comfortable. Right. If you're not listening to your soul, let's use you for an example. When you were back in Australia and you're like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? You're having all these anxious thoughts going through your mind. And this is actually a big thing I love to tell people. I use my chakra system for answers. And I don't even know if you've ever heard of this before, but for that, like preferably, I always use my chakra system for answers. So for an example, if I'm constantly feeling the need to move to Australia, I live in Canada right now. Perhaps I have the need to move to Australia right now. Yeah. And if I'm getting that, like, you know, that butterfly feeling that humans love to say, the butterfly feeling, what it actually is an energy cluster in your power chakra, your solar plexus, for an example. And when you feel that energy cluster, the butterfly feeling, when you're thinking about moving to Australia, then that's telling you, move to Australia. If I feel it in my heart chakra, if I need to go do anything, like on a day-to-day basis, if I need to do anything, then I feel it in my heart chakra, then that means that like my heart is on that. You know what I mean? I need to do that. I'm following my soul.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people mistake intuition with fear, though.
Yes.
So I'm not saying it's not good to fight fear. Like, there's amazing opportunities every time you fight that fear feeling. But a lot of people are taking the intuition that they should go do this or that, when it's fear, when your soul is actually saying, no, don't do that. And they think it's like the intuition. But that's why I always use my chakra system for answers. If I feel something in my throat chakra, for an example, I know I need to speak my truth. If it's regarding a friend that I am holding a lot back from, perhaps I need some communication with my boyfriend, speak your truth.
Yeah.
But no, really following your soul. Now I'm forgetting what the question was about.
So how would you know, like, if it's an ego-based question, where would that be coming from in the body?
The ego-based question, solar plexus, telling you to step into your power, make a move.
Oh, okay. So if people are getting confused with soul messages and ego messages, so ego messages aren't necessarily a bad thing.
No. I feel like it's not always that great to follow your ego. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. This is a human experience. So you need to have that connection all the time. Some people will tell you to like completely disconnect the two. And I don't do that. I don't believe in that, because we're in a human experience. We can't always think like soul, or
yes,
like the best way that's going to benefit us, because sometimes we need to creep down that obstacle to learn the most from it. But my thing is, if I'm feeling uncomfortable in my life, then I know that I'm not following my soul. I know that, like you said, like the soul is following you. If you're feeling very comfortable, even the thoughts that run through your mind when you're thinking of doing or making a move on something, changing something in your life, and you're feeling extremely comfortable within yourself to do that, then go do it. Your soul is never going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's always going to make that feel right.
Right. That's so interesting, because there's obviously a practice of like, oh, follow your soul, don't listen to your ego and all of that stuff. But like here we get to, when really you actually get to honor both, because the ego is a very human-like experience, and the soul is that obviously like spiritual, intuitive experience. And like, you know, we got to be realistic here. We're living in a human world. We're living in a very real life world. So
exactly.
Right. So you can still listen to both. So, okay. So let's just recap there. So soul is in sacral chakra. Did you say base?
Like solar plexus area, like your stomach, the yellow one. Yeah.
Oh, so, and where's ego? That's the same.
Ego, I wouldn't say that it has a, I feel like the intuitive, the chakra intuitive answers is more like a feeling that you're getting. It's not really connected to the actual like ego.
Okay.
For an example, if you're thinking in your mind, or even in your day-to-day life, it keeps crossing your mind, should I keep using you for an example, or me, should I move to Australia from Canada? And if I'm constantly feeling that like energy cluster in my solar plexus, then that's telling me, make your move. Your soul is telling you, make your fucking move. Go. Follow me. When you're completely feeling uncomfortable, and like if you're feeling uncomfortable and like you stay in Canada and like you keep even having those little urges to go, synchronicities too. Let's talk about synchronicities. I bet you've seen a lot of synchronicities even after you left Australia.
So much.
I see synchronicities, right? You just see these synchronicities. That it's not always like people think a synchronicity is them trying to tell you to do something or showing you the way, but it's not. Sometimes they're showing us synchronicities to tell us that we've done the right move, we've made the right action, we've made the right choice, and they're showing us like the little synchronicities around us. I'm going to give you an example. Today I was talking to my friend and she's like, yeah, like I really feel the urge to quit this job and I want to be a firefighter. And I'm like, you go do that, girl. And then in 5 minutes, I swear to God, we've seen a fire chief in the Tim Hortons. I don't know if Tim Hortons is like a huge coffee place in Canada.
Right.
And then we've seen a fire truck, and then like we've seen this other fire truck within 5 minutes. We're like, okay, there's synchronicities here. The universe is telling you, make that move.
Wow.
That's like a big thing.
Oh,
synchronicity.
My God. That's amazing.
I follow them everywhere.
Oh, I have to, okay, here's my synchronicity. I think this would be a perfect, because I didn't really quite put it two and two together until you just brought it up. So I've got this tattoo, which I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
So it's a palm tree, and there's like triangles, and there's 3 places that I love. So my home in Sydney has palm trees, and I always look to the palm trees over my balcony. And then LA obviously are known for their palm trees. And then Bali, which is like where I get all my tattoos, and like it's a very spiritual place for me. I love it. Also has palm trees. So I got the palm trees. I got this tattoo back in March. I hadn't even booked my flight to Los Angeles yet, but I knew that I had to move to America. I just didn't know when. Yeah. And I just made like a little thing in my head when I was getting the tattoo. I made a little thing in my head that wherever I was going to live, no matter where, either it was Bali, still in Sydney, or LA, I was always going to see palm trees from my home.
That is funny. And now look, you're in front of the fucking beach, girl.
There is like
you're following your soul.
There's palm trees when I shower. There's palm trees when I sleep. Like I just look at the fucking window of every single window of my home, and there's palm trees everywhere. And I
love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's literally it. Yes,
yeah,
I love it. And you kind of manifested that too. Let's
I
be
did.
real.
I
You
did.
definitely manifested that shit. Like,
Yeah,
and that's so divine. Oh my God.
it
I
is.
love when you just manifest something so great like that. I love it.
Exactly. And I also manifested like living across the road from the beach, because when I did in Sydney, I said to myself, I will always live across the road from the beach. Like, this is as far as I'm ever going to be from the beach. This is it. And like, you know, in Los Angeles, living on the beach, like it's like really, really expensive. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to manifest like a really reasonably priced place, fully furnished, and I got it within budget, and it was fully furnished, and it's literally across the road from the beach. It's just like next level. Oh, I think we've lost you.
I love it.
Oh, you're back.
Hold on. Oh, I'm here. Am I here? Because I don't know what's going on here.
No, you're back.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
back. You're back.
Boom.
Ooh,
Got it. Thank you, universe.
I know, exactly. Thank you, universe. I'm always divinely guided, and I know that I'm always being taken care of, and like, that's it. And actually, like, with that thought, about like soul versus ego, because when people can get like a scarcity based mentality, or even like a fear based mentality of being like, oh, but am I making this decision from my soul, or am I making this decision based off ego? Now, if we just remove that all to a side and actually having the belief system of, well, actually, what if I believe that every decision that I made is always the right one? Will it really matter if it's from ego? Will it really matter if it's from soul? No, because the underlying belief is that every decision that I make is the correct one for me. Oh no, have we lost you again? Where's Ash gone? I just dropped the best truth bomb and we lost her. I think she's coming back. Oh, we've lost her. All right. Well, if she comes back, she comes back. But I wanted to also maybe just riff on. I'll just see if she's coming back first. This is the first time I've ever had like a technical difficulty, and it clearly means, oh, here she comes. Hello. But it clearly means that our souls are all on fire, and our intuitive powers are just like, oh, I'm going to stuff up technology.
Problems right now.
All right, I got you back, girl. Are you back?
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was saying to everyone that it's probably like all of our intuitive powers just coming in one go, and the technology was just like, oh, it's too much. I can't handle it. I need a break.
I'm back, but like it's very laggy.
Okay, that's all right. Maybe can you actually hear me in full, or am
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, sweet. Well, I did want to do like a couple more sort of like discussions around a couple of things. So if someone was, how can someone really check into their soul? Like, yes, you've spoken about the chakras and like where there's something, what you need to say, and tuning in with the chakras. Is there any other way that someone can just sort of like check into their soul just to see if they're on an aligned path and trust whatever comes up? And I think we've lost you again.
I would say, I feel like, do you mean like before, like kind of like before you hit like a transition, more like?
Yeah.
Sorry, you were kind of like blurring out a little when you were talking.
No, that's totally fine. I usually just ramble anyway, so that's accurate. So yeah, so if they know, if they've got the intuitive, they've got the chakra intuitive, like what you just explained with how to check in and tune in with that. But if someone's like, oh, I don't believe in the chakra system, or I just want to know another way. I just want to know like an easier way that I'm like aligned, and like that I know that I can back myself on this decision. Is there any other way that they can tune in? Lagged, lagged, and lagged. How lagged is my voice? Have I lost you again, girl?
You're trying to figure out if your soul aligned with your soul purpose.
Yes, yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, you're
I'm
back
here.
now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what I was going to say was,
Something that, oh, we've lost Ash again, and she's back again. Girlfriend.
oh man, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There's some.
Okay. Okay, so what I was going to say was, perhaps somebody is trying to figure out if they are soul aligned with their soul purpose.
Yes.
You're gonna, and this is kind of like with the synchronicities, you're gonna see little things playing out or that have played out before. Let's give an example. Those crystal making people, like maybe they don't make crystals, but they're making the jewelry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you really think back hard enough, like you were doing this when you were a child because you were so vulnerable to the universe when you were young, and you remember that soul purpose that you were doing it when you were a kid. You knew that you were like a holistic healer, for an example, and that's a great way to do so, making the jewelry. When you think back into your childhood years and you see the repetitive patterns that were playing out before you consciously like push those away, that's where you're going to be soul aligned. When you think back to when you were a child, honestly, that is a big one for me. I do this all the time, even in meditation. Big. Often I ask my angels, listen, in a meditation, listen, resurface some memories of me in my childhood. Let me see how this is aligning now. People think that children are just supposed to be seen and not heard, or they don't know anything, but they're actually so brilliant and close to the universe that they are already doing what they're supposed to be doing. And like, this is kind of off topic, but with your soul purpose, you have been doing this your whole life. You've been given people in your alignment already to gift this purpose to. So when you're following your soul in that way, it's been there.
Yeah.
Just look for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look for those patterns that have always been there.
Oh, wow. I love that.
I'm having a lot of internet problems.
No, that's okay. I feel like that's like the best.
I think I'm going to be good now.
Okay. I think there's some. There's a little bit of back. I don't know if I can hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
you.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you.
Oh, wow. But that was awesome. And I think it really just goes back down to your soul always knows. And if you ever feel disconnected from your soul, why don't you just, but so if people are feeling disconnected from the soul, if the soul always knows, if you're always guided through soul, but people are questioning whether or not like they trust their soul, or they believe that the soul always knows that it's right, or that they're trying to go up against their soul. Like, what do you think are some of the consequences that will be delivered to you if you truly like go against your soul and you sort of just be like, no, this is what I want to do, or I'm too scared to follow soul, and there's just all this bullshit stories coming up?
First one, lack of abundance. Let's be real. I'm a perfect example of what we said in the beginning of this video. I quit my job. everything came after that.
Yeah.
I listened to my soul, and I literally called my boss at 12:30 in the morning, and I was scared shitless of her. I just called her. I'm like, listen, I'm not coming in anymore. And I was usually a one to put that 2-week notice. Like in Canada, we have that like 2-week rule where you should give your, and I didn't want to burn the bridge, but I followed my soul, and everything came in after that. I was living paycheck to paycheck. And it wasn't even paycheck to paycheck, even paycheck to paycheck. I was still having bills that I wasn't paying, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't getting enough of that. When I followed my soul and I let that go, the abundance just flowed in. The floodgates opened. I'm obviously not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. I'm doing pretty great for myself, and I'm loving it. Abundance just flows. When you don't follow your soul, you're not going to have abundance. Let's be real. You can be happy. That's fine. You can have abundance. That's fine. But when you follow your soul, the floodgates open to all of it. Another thing, they were talking to me a second ago, and I don't remember what they were saying now. I don't even remember. It was good though.
It'll come.
I'll remember. I always do.
Yeah, you always do. Oh, wow. Okay, so I feel like this is really such powerful work, and I knew that we'd have like a really awesome podcast, and it's really coming down to something that I'm so passionate about following soul, because we are both prime examples of people that are doing that. And there's still even like a part of me that I can sort of feel every single day that I'm not really following my soul, because I'm trying to sell the businesses back home in Australia, and but they're still sort of like my safety net and whatnot. So I'm trying to sell them back home in Australia, and I know that like I don't want to do any work in them and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, yeah, but I know that I'm still living with my soul, and I'm still living like for my soul, because I am launching like my online businesses and all of that stuff. So when you feel like there's a bit of a transition period, right? From like, so yours from transitioning, following your soul, yours was very like cutthroat. You're like, I quit, I'm done, and then everything took off. So do you feel like there's circumstances?
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's circumstances where that might not happen for people? Like if they will like lose their house, or like, you know, if I just like pissed off my business, I would be disappointing 13 people. And
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a perfect example, okay? I had this one client, and it's so funny because she was, she owned that Pilates business, and it's so funny how this is even synchronizing right now, but she owns this Pilates business, doing amazing, but she had this urge to leave. Like she just had that burning urge in her core, you know what I mean? Her solar plexus, you got to do it, you got to make that move, and she didn't listen. So one day she's like working out Pilates studio with one of her clients, and she breaks her fucking knee. That was done for her. She could not train them anymore. She couldn't do Pilates anymore. Like I can't believe I'm laughing right now, but like, let's be real. The universe made that happen. Yeah. So anyways, I think it was like she was being pushed by her soul to start like the crystal business or holistic healing, something along those lines. And she's like, well, fuck, I can't do Pilates anymore. I might as well do that. It seems like a sign. And boom, business took off. Yeah. Everything was soaring in, abundance on all levels. She was happier than before. She was abundant on money before, abundant on clients now, abundant on knowledge. When I notice the times where I'm following my soul the most, I'm getting like divine downloads out of fucking everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? I'm getting knowledge on things I didn't even have before. My perception is raising. I'm getting to that next dimensional state where I'm just like so there, you know what I mean? And the universe will always work behind the scenes to make it happen. If you're not listening, they're going to make something happen. You know what? It happened to me. I'm like thinking about my own story right now. My daughter, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm having a storm in Toronto. I should have said that. That's why my internet's
That's probably
being
what it
messed up.
is.
There's a huge windstorm. But
Right.
what I was gonna say was my daughter actually I had to withdraw her from daycare.
You had to withdraw from daycare.
Yeah, because it's doing it again, right? But no, my daughter got withdrawn from daycare and I was kind of pushed into quitting the job already. So I'm just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Clearly I have to stay home with her. They're pushing me into something. I had no childcare.
Yeah.
Like her father wouldn't help me. You know what I mean? I was really pushed into that. So I should
Wow.
have mentioned that. That was a big thing. They worked behind my like behind the scenes here and made that happen. They
Yeah.
were really pushing me for months. Quit this job, quit this job, quit this job. And I ignored it. And then my daughter got friggin' daycare just went to shit. So
Yeah.
I had to remove her.
Oh my
So
God, I love
that's
that.
a really good example right there.
Yeah. And that's also like another example of like, you know how I was saying before, when you're not following your soul, like there's consequences that can come your way. So that, I mean, that's essentially what has happened. And that 100% happened to me as well. Like when so before, when I was wanting to move to America, I thought I had the great staff, and then I was like, no, I'll just wait to get a bit more money first and blah, blah, blah. Then it turns out that four of those staff that I had on, four of the staff quit, stole half my business,
Ooh,
and opened a studio
yes.
down the road.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. You just reminded me of something also. Every single time I have a transition, my business always does a transition as well. It's not just me, it's my business because it's my sole purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like for an example, I was teaching psychic development back in February. They didn't want me doing this anymore. They wanted me to step right into the soul coaching, helping people shed the layers that no longer serve them, helping them to step into the confidence to help the collective here. All our soul purposes run together. There's not one that's more important than. I noticed clients drop like crazy, like, oh, I can't make this session, or I don't have time for this program anymore, this and that. Not because they weren't getting the knowledge they needed, but because the universe was working behind my back to manifest this. Like I notice it all the time. I have customized programs right now, for an example, and they pushed me into that. They're like, you need to do this. It really helps a certain soul on so many different levels, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll do this. When I launched that, all my other programs, people were dropping like flies. Like I'm telling you, but the universe was giving me the abundance in those different new programs. Like that is actually a huge example. It happens all the time. Every single time I have a transition, you know what else happens? They're telling me this now. You know when you're overworking yourself and you're not, there's no rest, no mind rest, no body rest, no soul rest, nothing. They forced me into it. They're like, always, girl, you need to take a break, or don't schedule that client. What are you doing? Like, they will make those clients have like other things to do those nights and reschedule for like the next night. So I have that entire night to meditate, dig deep, work on my own, my business. That gives me just happiness to just fix around, tweak things, have some wine. You know what I mean? Everything. They make it happen. I'm telling you, all the time. They work behind the scenes all the time. They know what's best for you, and they will make that shit happen.
And it's just so refreshing as well when you see something like that. Like when you get something, when you just by knowing that you're always taken care of, and that your angels are always looking out for you, and that you're always being divinely guided. Like it's sometimes we get so caught up with the whole like stress. I'm like super stressed out about it. I'm not sure about this decision. And like you get so, you get guilty about it. You get scared about it. You get all these like angry. You get all these like shitty emotions that are just nonstop holding you back. But when you truly step back and remove the emotion, and then you realize that you're always being guided into the best direction, and you're always being taken care of, then like it really allows you to drop that stress and just enjoy the ride, enjoy the moment. And as I know that is so easier said than done, because like we're human and we're in a human experience and we feel, emotions are very real. But, you know, and you can, you know, feel all those things for a moment. But if you can just try as much as possible or do, just come back to that inner belief of, you know what, I am always taken care of, and I am always going to be divinely guided, and like I'm giving all my stress and anxiety up to my angels, because I know they're taking care of me.
Literally surrendering to this now moment does that. I can honestly say when I surrendered to this now moment, and I only did this months ago, like maybe a month and a half ago, I got the concept of always being in the now moment. And like, even what you just said with like, those like lower frequency feelings, the sadness, the the guilt, the anger, that these human emotions that you have throughout your body, it's just an energy that runs through. Push that aside, get to the core here, and figure your shit out. You know what I mean? Surrender. The way I surrender, I just literally like sit wherever I am. I love to just go outside, like where it's like grassy and stuff, and take a deep breath into my core, release, and just like touch everything around me and just look around and be like, wow, like this is pretty, and just take in the beauty of everything around you. Like, I'm so lucky to be here right now. This problem I'm going through is an obstacle, and when I get over it, I'm going to be like on this level perception. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but like there's so many people that go through horrible things. Like you could be sitting there in your life wondering why your friend hasn't gone through all the fucked up shit you have, but maybe it's because you're an old soul and you've already been through that in a past life. What are your angels really going to give you if you've been through so much before? You need the hard lessons. You know what I mean? I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but maybe it'll help somebody.
Yeah, probably. Very much real. So I think that's an amazing note to end on, to be honest. So I think we're going to leave it there. And for anyone listening, I'm going to get Ash's Facebook, because that's how I know you. Is that where you do most of your work?
Yeah, I love Facebook. Love it.
Perfect. I know that I'm in your Facebook group as well. So I'm going to link the Facebook group, Ash's Facebook group, in the description for you guys to join. And yeah, she's amazing. And I'm so grateful to have like crossed paths with you. I don't even know how or why, but I don't remember how, but I'm grateful for you in my life also. I have no idea how it even happened, to be honest. Absolutely no idea. Wait. I remember one of our first interactions was me, like so excited that you spell your name the way that I want to spell my name. Like that's how I remember that. Oh my God, that is amazing. I just remember after I got that yes, and then I booked the ticket, I just had this divine urge to like contact you. It was like maybe like weeks after, whatever. Ooh, and I just had this urge to contact you and be like, yeah. And I just said, hey, like, don't know if you remember, but like I asked you like if it was the right decision to move to LA, and you said a big yes. Just want to let you know that I am actually moving to LA, and thank you so much. Like that was the extra push that I needed and whatnot. And that was like, that's what I really remember with our first sort of interaction. And then ever since then, like, I see you on Facebook, and I can just feel you crushing it. It's always about the energy. Yeah. Like, you can always tell who are really crushing it from a place. I feel the same way about you. Oh, thank you. And you know, like it's from a space of integrity. I really do, though. I'm not saying that. I love it. Oh my God, you're amazing. Yeah, so I'm just super psyched, and I'm so grateful that you came on here, and you're the best. And thank you. I'm sure I will see you very soon anyway. Of course. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's been great. And it's actually my first video podcast. So I'm like super, super hyped about this. And I'm really happy that we crossed paths as well. We're definitely going to keep on connecting. Perhaps we'll have some kind of collab in the future. You never know. I'm not even fucking joking. I had the collab go in my mind with our podcast, and after we got off this podcast, I was going to message you and be like, hey, like, is this what I was thinking? Like, are you keen? And it's so funny that you just said that, because I wasn't going to do it on the podcast, but I was like, well, now everyone gets to know. That is so funny. Honestly, that is so funny. I love it. I'm gonna message you now, but I'm gonna finish
Okay.
the podcast so everyone can like go about their lives. And then who knows, maybe in the description I'll be like, hey, and actually after our podcast, this is what we're collaborating with now.
Love
So you
it.
can buy our shit below, like literally sign up to our program that we're about to discuss, like in the description box.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh, it's 100% happening though. All right, gorgeous. Well, I'll speak to you in like 2.5 seconds. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and love you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right, bye, girl.